What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to Canadians talking about some of the reasons that they won't visit the United States. So, as an American, I think that I understand why so many Canadians are upset with the US. But, at the end of the day, the way that I view things and I comprehend things and see things is through the lens of an American. So, today, I really want to check out this video here where straight from their own mouth, Canadians are explaining the reasons that they are not happy with the United States. So let's take a look.
What Canada is doing right now is building their own resilience. They're choosing to spend their dollars in Canada. They're choosing to make sure that Canadians are supported in a time when, things are hitting our country quite hard. The steel and aluminum tariffs.
Okay, so who is this? Consul General? Honestly, I don't know what that is. That's I've never heard that title before. Um, this sounds like a Canadian representative of some sort, and she's basically saying that a lot of Canadians want to support Canada. And it sounds like she's talking about financially speaking. So that's one reason. That's but that's not like getting to the core, the underlying reason. Like that's almost like a symptom or something. Like, yeah, a lot of Canadians do not want to support the United States and they would rather support Canada. And of course, you don't need any other reason than that to support your own country or want to have pride in your country, and that makes sense, but I know that there's more to it than just like, oh, I want to support Canada. Because, you know, the data has clearly shown for like a year or more now, there's a massive downtrend of Canadians not visiting the US. Tourism is way down. It's really hurting a lot of American businesses by design. It's a boycott. So, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is what's like the real reason Canadians are very upset with the US? I think I know.
When things are hitting our country quite hard. The steel and aluminum tariffs have been difficult. The auto tariffs, the ongoing issue with lumber tariffs, all of those things have really impacted the Canadian economy, and Canadians are feeling like we need to support our own country first.
Okay, she kind of alluded to it a bit there. Some of the tariffs that the US government, Donald Trump, has by design enacted against Canada, these tariffs that are supposed to hurt the Canadian economy and bolster the American economy, even though God knows it has not worked out that way at all. Perhaps even the exact opposite. But anyway, she's kind of alluding to it there. Like that's why Canadians want to support Canada and your economy because the United States is actively trying to hurt the Canadian economy. So that kind of is answering my question a bit.
That's Canada's Consul General explaining why Canadians are avoiding America. It comes as cross-border tourism is down for the second straight year in Vermont.
Can you believe we're at that time? We're not talking about like things are trending down for the US over like months. If you put it on a graph or a chart and it's like, oh, month over month it's going down. We're at year over year. It's down. It's been that long.
Trajan visited our neighbors to the north to find out why they're not visiting and when they'll be back.
Oh, this is interesting. So this is an American news agency, what WCAX, and they sent like a journalist out to Canada, like we have to do, like we have to like send our people out to do this research to figure out why Canadians are not traveling here, why Canadians are so upset. Again, I do feel like even from an American perspective, if you're just objective, it's mostly because of the things that started with Donald Trump being elected, right? Well, we're gonna see here.
Good evening, everyone. As we've been reporting all week, there's been a decline in tourism from Canada to the United States. Talking to locals here in Montreal, I found there are several possible reasons for that, but one overwhelming one. Some pointed to
One overwhelming. Here we go. This is the cutting edge journalism that I'm here for.
one. Some pointed to the rising costs and the exchange rate.
Well, if you want to go to USA, it's so expensive.
Others
That's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that angle. Although that wouldn't really explain why the massive downturn in Canadians visiting the US, why the plummet in the so much so recent. You know, I think the US dollar has been technically worth more at the exchange rate than the Canadian dollar for like years. So I don't the cost of the exchanging of the money and the things are more expensive in general here in the US. That's true. But isn't that true in Canada as well? I feel like a lot of countries are feeling that right now. But so I don't know if this is the explanation.
Expensive.
Others described safety concerns.
Being part of the LGBTQ community as well.
Oh.
What's happening in the US doesn't feel that safe right now.
I mean, that'll perk you up as an American. That's eye-opening. See, this is why I think more Americans need to like talk about this and listen to this stuff. It's like Canadians literally are saying they don't feel safe in the US. That should make us feel some kind of way. That should make us feel embarrassed. Like that's not good. And it's also it's a valuable sort of outside perspective. Like that's why it's valuable to hear what people outside of the United States have to say about us cuz it's just more objective, right? It's hard to criticize yourself. Or at times I think a lot of Americans just don't want to acknowledge anything is wrong. They don't want to acknowledge that the US is declining. They don't want to acknowledge that we elected an insane person that's doing really harmful things to the US right now. A perfect example would be ruining our relationship with Canada and harming us. And there's so many examples now of how we're worse off. And a lot of Americans can't come to terms with that. And I think in a weird way, because it would require acknowledging that we've made a mistake, that we are not the best, that we are vulnerable, all these things that we don't really want to do that are very like against our concept of the United States that we have built up in our minds living here. So I think that's a huge part of it.
Everything was really messy over there.
The common thread, many Canadians don't like America's politics.
Donald Trump's fault. We don't want to go to the U.S. because of Donald Trump.
Okay. Thank you. Random Canadian in Montreal. That is extremely blunt. And I think that's what I'm looking for today. The politics. That's what I thought at the beginning of the video where I'm like, I think I understand why Canadians are upset. It's mostly because of the politics. It's mostly because of the Trump. And you don't gotta be a genius to see that. But like I was saying, I think there's a lot of Americans who aren't that aware of the severe damage that has been done to our international reputation and the damage to the Canada-US relationship. A lot of Americans just don't, like I was saying, don't know and don't want to know
Canadians don't like America's politics.
Donald Trump's fault. We don't want to go to the U.S. because of Donald Trump.
I think everyone here really just wants Trump to go.
This group of
Okay. So is that's in my mind that's like the number one. Maybe there's other underlying things, but it all basically stems from that, if we're being totally honest, with Donald Trump and the policies and decisions and the threats and the madness, particularly towards Canada a lot of the time, actually.
student actors tells me their whole school is actively boycotting visiting the U.S.
So we went in a school trip in New York. So it was organized before the election, and we went just because all was paid and we couldn't be refunded.
So you
Okay.
mentioned that it was before the election. Had these plans been made after the election, do you think you would have gone?
Absolutely not.
Wow. I mean, these are. It's not even like. It's not even trying to mince words. It's not. It's being totally blunt. Like, in no uncertain terms. And I actually appreciate that, being straightforward about this. These Canadians, it's a lot of young people they're interviewing right now, but I'd assume this is generally the sentiment. I mean, and also this is in Montreal. Canada's a big place, but this has given me a pretty good idea of how Canadians are feeling, honestly.
They tell me their families share the same sentiment. The plans had to change. You're no longer looking to go to the United States.
I actually had because for 2 years I went to the States like every year with my grandfather and my father. And last year we were supposed to go to Boston, and because of the elections we actually decided to go to Ottawa instead.
Before
It's just so sad to hear, you know? As an American, it's sad to hear like generations of Canadians enjoyed coming to the US as a part of your vacation or your family plans and we've ruined that. That's yeah, like we've ruined the trade and we've ruined the politics and a lot of other stuff. This is like just as important, if not deeper. This is like we've ruined this emotional trust and connection that a lot of Canadians and Canadian families had with the US and visiting here, and that was something you look forward to like every year perhaps. And yeah, there's something like deeper and more emotional about ruining that. It's like you've ruined your relationship with a good friend or something.
the election, border crossings into Vermont peaked in August 2024 with over 381,000. In August of 2025, they dropped to 252,000. So
Wow.
when might we see them go back up?
We wait when Trump leave.
Oh, okay. I mean, this is also something that I've wondered about very seriously, because I've done quite a few videos now, like understanding all this stuff and everything that the US has done to Canada and how everyone is suffering and worse off because of it, and it's like, and how the relationship has been ruined. And obviously I have thought, is there any going back? Is there any fixing it? Is that possible? So this is almost like a glimmer of hope, actually, in my American mind, where it's like, okay, so there is a caveat, at least for this guy. This guy doesn't speak for all of Canada. I know that, but I got to go with something. This guy says, when Donald Trump is gone, perhaps he will return. So that's like some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. It's just like, I don't know if that's true, one thing, and I don't know what the hell is going to happen to the US or us towards Canada. I don't know what is going to happen to the world in the meantime with Donald Trump as president, because a lot of crazy stuff has happened. Stuff that he swore he would never do. We're at war after campaigning against new wars, stupid wars. Our economy inflation is up, prices are up. He said it would be the most prosperous time in America ever. That's literally the tagline, Make America Great Again. Literally the opposite is happening. We're declining. everyone around the world seems to hate us. No one wants to come here. So it's like, if that's what's happened already, there's still like 2.5 more years of that. And it only seems to be getting worse. So I don't know if we're gonna like what we're gonna look like in 2.5 years.
And we come back to USA.
It's Donald Trump's fault. Get rid of him, we coming again.
I love this guy. He keeps it real. He just says it like how it is. Like, Trump sucks. We don't like it. We don't like what he did. When he's gone, we're cool. All right, cool.
Him, we coming again.
The general consensus, many will consider visiting again when the U.S. has a new president.
Okay, that's actually very like, in a weird way, that's like nice to hear. And I hope it's true.
It's not like the United States are going to disappear in in 4 years when Trump's not going to be in office.
Is this the normal French Canadian hair styles here? Or what?
Then we would go.
Bernadette Jordan, Consul General of
Okay.
Canada, tells me the centuries of history between our countries trumps the past year of turmoil.
Canada is ready and willing to come to the table when the time is right, to make sure that we talk about these challenges, to make sure that we look at how we can best go forward to benefit both of our countries, because we are so interdependent on each other.
These students know skipping a vacation won't.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's like, I really admire that, because if the situation was flipped and Canada had done to us what we have done to you, if it was reversed, I don't know if Americans would be so graceful about it. Like, yeah, you guys are boycotting and not traveling and not selling alcohol here, and all sorts of stuff that you probably should be doing just because, you believe in standing up for yourself and Canadian pride and not putting up with, and that I totally understand and actually respect. But if America was in your shoes, I don't even know like if we would have the grace of the forgiveness or the attitude of like, well, in a few years when the crazy guy is gone, perhaps then we can start anew. Um, I think even that is like an awesome, really generous, like sort of viewpoint for Canadians to have. So I appreciate that.
Change the U.S. overnight, but believe their decision still matters.
We know that we won't impact the economics of the U.S. with just going for vacation, but it's more for our morals.
And while these conversations,
I do think it's actually impacting the economics of the U.S. Quite substantially, actually. And if not like maybe as a percentage of our whole GDP or something, like trillions of dollars, but like this is billions and billions and billions of dollars in tourism revenue that's evaporated. And a lot of business and jobs in the US, particularly for the northern parts of the US, are really suffering. And I know Canadians probably don't want to make people suffer, but at the end of the day, it's more about a message. That is the point of a protest and a boycott, to send a message, to cause suffering, unfortunately, when necessary. So, yeah, it is what it is, I suppose.
don't paint the whole picture. They do offer insight into why the tourism numbers are down. I'm Tia Trudgeon reporting for Channel 3 News, Montreal.
There you go. Just a couple of Americans trying to infiltrate Canada and understand what you're thinking. And I'd say overall, a lot of this was kind of in line with what I was suspecting, with a couple of things that were nice to hear and actually really interesting to hear from the Canadian perspective. So yeah, I guess I understand why Canadians are upset. Much better now, much better hearing it from Canadians and Canadians who previously enjoyed traveling here too. So that's how you know it's serious. But yeah, this was very insightful, very interesting. Good to like hear opinions from Canadians and not just like, here in the US, you just hear Americans and what we're talking about and thinking about. And it very rarely has to do with like international relationships and our reputation and very, very important things that we are just not talking about, honestly. So this was good. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, especially if you're Canadian and you have an opinion on all this or your reasons for not traveling to the US. That'd be awesome to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canadian things that I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.